The text came through at 6:47 inches the morning. I was in my Minneapolis apartment, already awake with my coffee, when my phone lit up with a message from my neighbor at the lake. "Your stepsister is here. She's got a moving truck. Says your mom left her the cabin in the will." I stared at the screen. My hands didn't shake. My heart didn't race. Instead, I felt something cold and sharp settle in my chest. Clarity. I typed back, "Let her in. Don't stop her. Just make sure she signs the visitor log." Then I opened the app on my phone, the one connected to the cameras I'd installed 3 weeks ago, cameras that nobody knew about. Not my stepsister Vanessa, not my stepfather Greg, not even my best friend Amy who lived 2 blocks away. The screen loaded. There was Vanessa, standing in my mother's driveway, gesturing to 2 men in a budget rental truck. She was wearing workout clothes like she'd just come from the gym, but her face showed something else. Urgency, determination, greed. I watched her wave her arms, point toward the cabin door, her mouth moving rapidly. Even without audio from the outdoor camera, I could read her body language. This was it, the moment I'd been waiting for. My mother, Sarah Mitchell, had died 4 months ago. Heart attack. She was only 63. I was 35, unmarried, no kids. My mom had been my best friend, my anchor, the person I called every Sunday morning without fail. The cabin had been in our family for 40 years. My grandparents bought it in 1984 for $30,000, 1,200 square feet on Lake Minnetonka, 30 miles west of Minneapolis. Now it was worth $450,000, maybe more. Not because of the cabin itself, which needed updating, but because of the location. Waterfront property, private dock, half an acre of pine trees. My mother's will was crystal clear, notarized, witnessed by 2 people. The cabin went to me. Her savings, about $75,000, went to me. Her car went to me. Everything went to me because I was her daughter, her only biological child. Vanessa was my stepsister. My mother married Greg Hoffman 12 years ago, when I was 23 and Vanessa was 28, a second marriage for both of them. My father had died when I was 7. Vanessa's mother had left when Vanessa was a teenager. At first, I tried to accept Vanessa. We were adults. We didn't have to be sisters, just civil. And for a while, it worked. We had holiday dinners together. We exchanged birthday cards. But Vanessa changed after my mother got sick last year. Started asking questions, weird questions. Does Sarah have a will? Where does she keep her important papers? What happens to the cabin when she's gone? My mother would laugh it off. "I'm not dying anytime soon, Vanessa. Don't worry about it." But Vanessa kept pushing, and Greg, her father, my stepfather, would sit there quietly, saying nothing, while his daughter asked my mother about her death plans over Thanksgiving turkey. When my mom went into the hospital last November for what we thought was just exhaustion, Vanessa was there every day, bringing flowers, holding her hand, being the perfect stepdaughter. I was there too, of course, taking time off work from my job as a marketing manager at a medical device company, sleeping in the hospital chair, making sure the nurses knew her medication schedule. My mother recovered from that scare. But 3 months later, in February, the heart attack came suddenly. No warning. She was gone before the ambulance arrived. I found her. I called 911. I held her hand while we waited, knowing she was already gone but unable to let go. The funeral was small. My mother wanted cremation, her ashes scattered at the cabin, under the big oak tree where she liked to read. 1 week after the funeral, Vanessa called me. "We need to talk about the cabin," she said. Her voice was businesslike. "What about it?" "Well, Dad and I assumed we'd all share it. You know, as a family property." I took a breath. "Mom's will leaves it to me." Silence. Then, "Are you sure? Because Mom told me last year that she wanted me to have it. She said I needed it more than you because you have your career and your apartment." That was a lie. My mother never said that, but I kept my voice calm. "The will is clear, Vanessa. I have the original document. It was notarized 18 months ago. Well, maybe there's a newer version. Mom might have changed her mind." "She didn't." Another silence. "We'll see about that." She hung up. 2 days later, my stepfather Greg called. He sounded uncomfortable. "Jennifer, Vanessa is really upset. She feels like Sarah promised her that cabin. Can't you share it? Let her use it sometimes? Greg, I loved my mother. I'm following her wishes exactly as she wrote them. But we're family. Sarah would have wanted us to get along. Then Vanessa should respect the will. He sighed. You're being very rigid about this. Rigid. As if enforcing my mother's legal wishes made me the bad guy. Over the next month, Vanessa tried different tactics. First, she was sweet. Jenny, I'm sorry we got off on the wrong foot. How about we meet for coffee? Talk this through? I agreed. We met at a Starbucks near my office. She brought a folder. I found some of Mom's old papers, she said, sliding the folder across the table. Look at this email. It was printed out. An email allegedly from my mother to Vanessa, dated 6 months ago. Vanessa, I've been thinking about the cabin. Jennifer has her life in the city. You and your dad could really use it. I'm going to update my will to leave it to you. Don't tell Jennifer yet. I want it to be a surprise. I read it twice. Then I looked at Vanessa. This is fake. It's not fake. That's Mom's email address. Anyone can spoof an email address. And my mother never called me Jennifer in emails. She called me Jenny or Jen. Always. Vanessa's jaw tightened. You're calling me a liar? I'm saying this email is not real, and you know it. She grabbed the folder back. Fine. We'll do this the legal way. There's nothing legal for you to do. The will is valid. We'll see what a judge says. She left. I sat there with my cold latte, feeling something shift inside me. This wasn't just about grief or family disagreement. This was targeted, calculated. I called my mother's attorney, Michael Pearson. He was 62, had practiced estate law for 30 years, and had been my mother's friend since high school. Michael, my stepsister is claiming my mom promised her the cabin. Did she? No, never. The will is clear. Then, there's nothing to worry about. The will was properly executed. 2 witnesses, notarized. Your mother was of sound mind. No one can contest it successfully. But Vanessa has a fake email. I heard him sigh. Jennifer, people try this all the time. Forged documents, fake emails, fraudulent claims. But without real evidence, they have no case. Don't worry. The cabin is yours. I wanted to believe him. But something in my gut said, this wasn't over. The next week, Vanessa filed a formal contest. Her attorney, someone I'd never heard of, sent a letter claiming that my mother had been unduly influenced by me, that the will was signed under duress, and that a previous will existed, leaving the cabin to both of us. Michael responded with a strongly worded letter. No previous will existed. My mother had full mental capacity. The contest was frivolous. But the process had started. Court dates, depositions, legal fees piling up. That's when things got strange. I started getting phone calls from the Lake Minnetonka Property Management Company. Someone was trying to get access codes, someone claiming to be the estate executor. Did you authorize a Vanessa Hoffman to access the cabin? The manager asked. No, absolutely not. She called yesterday saying she needed to inventory the property for estate purposes. Don't give her anything. I'm the only executor. Understood. Then my stepfather called again. Jennifer, Vanessa just needs to get a few of Sarah's personal items, things that have sentimental value to her. Can't you let her into the cabin for one afternoon? What items? I don't know. Photos. Maybe some of your grandmother's jewelry that Sarah kept there. My grandmother's jewelry. My mother had specifically left that to me in the will, detailed in an attachment, 6 pieces. Total appraised value, $12,000. No, Greg, nothing gets removed from that cabin until the estate is fully settled. You're being unreasonable. I'm being careful. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Vanessa's determination, her fake email, her attempts to access the cabin, her father's pressure. This was more than a will contest. This was a plan. I called Amy, my best friend since college. She was a software engineer, pragmatic and smart. I think Vanessa is going to try to steal from the cabin, I told her. Can she even get in? I have all the keys, but she could break in. Then put up cameras. That's when I remembered. My ex-boyfriend Mark had installed security cameras at his parents' lake house last summer. He'd showed me the app. Wise cameras. $30 each. Motion activated, cloud storage, perfect quality. The next day, I drove to the cabin. 45 minutes west on Highway 7. It was March, still cold, the lake partially frozen. I hadn't been back since we scattered my mother's ashes. Walking in hurt. Everything smelled like her, pine, coffee, that lavender soap she loved. I spent 6 hours installing 8 cameras. Living room, kitchen, both bedrooms, the dock entrance, front door, back door, and one in the garage. I used the same Wi-Fi network my mother had, hiding the cameras behind books, inside fake smoke detectors, tucked into corner shelves. I downloaded the app, set up motion alerts, set up cloud recording. Everything would be saved automatically. I also changed the locks. New deadbolts on both doors. I kept one key, hid another in a fake rock outside for emergencies, and gave a third to Michael, my attorney. I didn't tell anyone about the cameras. Not Amy, not Michael, nobody. Then I waited. For 2 weeks, nothing happened. The cameras picked up a squirrel on the deck, a delivery truck turning around in the driveway. Normal stuff. But on a Tuesday morning in late March, my phone exploded with alerts. Motion detected. Front door, living room, kitchen, bedroom 1, bedroom 2. I opened the app. Vanessa was inside. She wasn't alone. A man I didn't recognize was with her. Tall, maybe 40, wearing a fleece jacket. They were walking through the cabin like they owned it. I turned up the volume on my phone. "Okay, take the nice stuff first," Vanessa was saying. "The flat-screen TV. The grandfather clock in the living room. That painting over the fireplace, that's worth at least $2,000. The man looked uncomfortable. "Do you have paperwork?" "I usually don't do jobs without seeing the owner's authorization." Vanessa pulled something from her purse. "Right here, estate executor documents. I'm authorized to remove items for safekeeping during the probate process." I watched him glance at the paper without reading carefully. "And the owner knows?" "My stepsister? She's fine with it. She's busy in the city, doesn't have time to deal with this stuff. I'm helping her." Lies. All lies. I immediately texted Michael. "Vanessa is in the cabin right now. Removing property. I have it on camera." His response came fast. "Call the police. Now." I dialed 901. "This is Jennifer Mitchell. I need to report a burglary in progress at 4782 Lakeshore Drive, Orono." The dispatcher asked questions. I answered clearly. "My stepsister is inside my late mother's cabin, removing property without authorization. I'm the estate executor. She has no legal right to be there." "Are you at the location?" "No, I'm in Minneapolis, but I have security cameras. I'm watching it happen live. We're sending a unit now. Stay on the line." I kept watching. Vanessa and the man were unplugging the TV. She went into my mother's bedroom, opened the jewelry box on the dresser. I watched her take out my grandmother's sapphire necklace, the one my mother wore to my college graduation, the one worth $4,000 alone. She held it up to the light, smiled, and put it in her jacket pocket. "This one's mine," she said to herself. The audio was clear, perfect. She took 2 more pieces. A bracelet, earrings. Then she went to my mother's desk, started opening drawers, taking papers. I saw her photograph some documents with her phone. "The cops are 10 minutes out," the dispatcher told me. "Tell them to hurry." Vanessa and the man were working faster now. They carried the TV out to a pickup truck. I could see through the window camera. Came back for the grandfather clock. My great-grandfather had built that clock. It was a family heirloom. Not for sale. Not removable. I was shaking now. Not from fear. From rage. 8 minutes passed. 9. Then I heard it through the audio. Sirens. Vanessa Frosi. "What the hell?" She ran to the window. Looked out. I saw her face go pale. "We need to go. Now." But it was too late. Through the front door camera, I saw 2 Orono police cruisers pull into the driveway, blocking the truck. The officers got out, walked toward the door. Vanessa opened it before they knocked. "Officers, can I help you?" Her voice was steady, confident. "We received a report of a burglary in progress." "A burglary?" "No, I'm the estate executor. I'm here doing my job." One officer, a woman about 40, looked past her into the cabin. Can I see your executor documents? Vanessa pulled out the paper again, handed it over. The officer read it, looked at her partner. Ma'am, this isn't an executor document. This is a will contest filing. It doesn't give you authority to remove property. Yes, it does, my attorney said. Your attorney was wrong. Who's the actual executor? My stepsister. And does she know you're here? Vanessa hesitated. We had a family understanding. The male officer spoke now. Ma'am, step outside, please. I watched Vanessa and the man come outside. The officers separated them. My phone rang. Unknown number. This is Officer Chen with Orono Police. Am I speaking with Jennifer Mitchell? Yes. You reported this burglary? Yes. I'm the estate executor. That's my late mother's property. My stepsister has no authorization to be there or take anything. Do you have proof of executor status? Yes. I can email it to you right now. And I have video evidence of her taking items, including valuable jewelry. Please send everything to this email address. She gave it to me. I sent the executor documents Michael had filed with probate court. I sent the will. And I sent 3 video clips. One of Vanessa taking the necklace and saying, "This one's mine." One of them removing the grandfather clock. One of her claiming to the moving guy that she had authorization. 10 minutes later, Officer Chen called back. Miss Mitchell, we're arresting your stepsister for burglary and theft. Do you want to press charges? Did I want to press charges? Against someone who tried to steal my inheritance, forge documents, and gaslight me about my own mother's wishes? Yes. Absolutely. We'll need you to come to the station to give a statement. I drove to Orono, 45 minutes that felt like 3 hours. At the station, I gave my statement, showed them the full camera footage, all 8 angles, every word Vanessa said, every item she touched. The detective, a man named Rodriguez, watched the video of her pocketing the necklace 3 times. This is really clear evidence, he said. Your stepsister is in a lot of trouble. What about the man helping her? He claims he's just a mover she hired, didn't know it was illegal. We're verifying that. He might face charges too, but probably lesser ones. They kept Vanessa overnight. Her bail hearing was the next morning. I went. Michael came with me. Vanessa was brought in wearing an orange jumpsuit. Her hair was messy, no makeup. She looked smaller somehow, diminished. But when her eyes met mine, I saw the same thing I'd seen in that coffee shop. Cold calculation. The prosecutor laid out the charges. Burglary, theft, fraud. Vanessa's attorney, the same one handling the will contest, argued for release. Your Honor, this is a family dispute that got out of hand. Miss Hoffman believed she had a right to access the property. No violence occurred. She's not a flight risk. The prosecutor countered. Your Honor, the defendant was caught on camera stealing valuable jewelry, removing property without authorization, and lying to hired help about having legal authority. She has also filed a frivolous will contest designed to delay legitimate estate settlement. She represents an ongoing threat to the victim's property. The judge, a woman in her 50s, reviewed the papers. I've seen the video evidence, she said. Miss Hoffman, you were clearly aware you did not have authorization. You were recorded saying the jewelry was yours and pocketing it. This is not a misunderstanding. This is theft. Bail is set at $50,000. You are to have no contact with the complainant or the property at 4782 Lakeshore Drive. Greg, sitting in the back row, stood up. Your Honor, that's my daughter. She made a mistake. She's not a criminal. Sir, sit down or you'll be removed. Greg sat. Vanessa was led away. She didn't look at me. Outside the courtroom, Greg found me. Are you happy now? His voice was shaking. You got my daughter arrested. Your daughter tried to rob me, Greg. She just wanted what Sarah promised her. Sarah promised her nothing. The will is clear, and even if there was a dispute, breaking into the cabin and stealing jewelry is still a crime. You didn't have to press charges. We could have worked this out as a family. I looked at this man who'd been married to my mother for 12 years, who I'd called my stepfather, who'd eaten at our table, slept in our guest room, been part of our lives. Greg, your daughter forged emails, filed false legal claims, broke into my mother's home, and stole family heirlooms. At what point do I stop being understanding and start protecting myself? He had no answer. The criminal case moved forward. Vanessa pleaded not guilty, but the video evidence was overwhelming. Her attorney tried to argue that the cameras were illegally installed, that I'd violated her privacy. But Michael shut that down fast. It was my property. I had every right to install security. 3 months later, the week before trial, Vanessa's attorney came to Michael with a deal. Vanessa would plead guilty to misdemeanor theft. She'd return all stolen items. She'd pay $5,000 in restitution for damages and legal fees. She'd drop the will contest, and she'd agree to a permanent restraining order keeping her away from me and the cabin. In exchange, the burglary charge would be dropped, and she'd get probation instead of jail time. Michael called me. "It's a good deal. You get everything back, the contest ends, and you never have to see her again." What if I want her to face full consequences? You can push for trial, but trials are unpredictable. This guarantees the result you need. I thought about it for 2 days. Part of me wanted to see her convicted, sentenced, humiliated, but the larger part of me just wanted it over. I wanted to grieve my mother in peace. I wanted to move forward. "Take the deal," I told Michael. The plea hearing was quick. Vanessa stood before the judge, admitted guilt, agreed to the terms. When it was over, Greg approached me one more time. "I hope you're satisfied," he said. "I'm not satisfied, Greg. I'm tired. I'm sad. I lost my mother, and then I had to fight her stepdaughter in court. None of this makes me happy." He looked at me for a long moment. "Sarah would be disappointed in how you handled this." That hit harder than I expected. But I kept my voice steady. My mother left a clear will because she knew exactly what she wanted. I honored that. If you and Vanessa can't accept it, that's not my problem anymore. I walked away. The cabin is mine now. Fully, legally, permanently mine. I spent last weekend there, cleaned it top to bottom, replaced the TV Vanessa broke during the theft, hung new curtains in the bedroom. I sat on the dock at sunset, watching the light turn the lake golden, and I finally let myself cry. Not for the legal battle, not for Vanessa or Greg, for my mom. For the Sunday morning phone calls I'd never have again, for the Christmas cookies we wouldn't bake together, for the million small moments that were just gone. But I also felt something else. Pride, maybe. Strength. My mother raised me to stand up for myself, to trust my gut when something felt wrong, to not let people, even family, walk over me in the name of keeping peace. I'd done that. I'd protected what was mine, I'd honored her wishes, and I'd done it smart, with evidence and legal backing, not just accusations. The cameras are still installed. I check them sometimes when I'm in the city, just to make sure everything's okay. Last month, I got a message from an unknown number. "This is Vanessa. I'm sorry for everything. I was grieving too, and I handled it badly. I hope someday we can talk." I stared at that message for a long time. Maybe someday we will talk. Maybe years from now, when the wound isn't so fresh, we'll find a way to be civil. But not today. Today, I need boundaries. I need distance. I need to protect the life my mother built and the inheritance she left me. And there's no shame in that. None at all. I'm 35 years old. I work hard. I pay my bills. I'm kind to people until they show me they don't deserve it. And when someone tries to take what's mine, whether it's property or peace of mind, I don't just roll over. I gather evidence. I call my attorney. I stand my ground. Because that's what my mother taught me. Not to be cruel, but to be strong. Not to seek conflict, but not to run from it either. The cabin is mine. The jewelry is mine. The life I'm building is mine. And nobody, not family, not anyone, gets to take that away. If you liked my story, let me know where you're listening from in the comments. And if this resonates with you, if you've dealt with inheritance battles or family betrayal, you're not alone. Stand up for yourself. Document everything. And don't be afraid to say no, even when they call you rigid or unreasonable. You know your truth. Trust it.